All right, let's jump right in. We're going to explore how you can turn your own personal growth into maybe the most interesting and compelling game you'll ever play. And yeah, you're the main character. I mean, seriously, just think about that for a second. What if your habits were skills you could level up? Your challenges were quests, and that nagging inner critic, what if that was a final boss you could actually understand and, overcome? And I want to be super clear here. This is not about escaping reality or checking out. It's actually the opposite. It's about checking in. We're just borrowing the language and the structure of games to build a way deeper relationship with ourselves. So where does an idea like this even come from? Well, it's not just some clever metaphor I cooked up. These concepts are actually drawn from art therapy, from a workbook that we're basically going to use as our game manual. This is it. This workbook is our guide. It's packed with all these creative exercises designed to help you explore your own inner world. And what we're going to do is translate its core ideas into a format that feels playable, something you can actually engage with. And here's the basic loop, the process for how we're going to do that. It's a really simple but powerful cycle. We start with a creative, therapeutic prompt from the book. Then we translate that into a familiar game mechanic. And finally, we connect that mechanic to a real-world habit you can actually practice. Okay, so let's get into level 1, designing your player character. Because, before you can play any game, you gotta know who you're playing as. And character creation, it's so much more than just picking a cool outfit, right? It's about really understanding your stats, your unique abilities, and kind of your personal operating system. So a great starting point is this concept of the inner lion and the outer mouse. Do you ever feel like super powerful and confident on the inside, but maybe you come across as more quiet or reserved on the outside? Well, that's not a conflict. Think of it as a shape-shifting ability. You've got a stealth mode and a strength mode. The real skill is knowing which one to use and when. And this next idea is a brilliant way to map out your own internal programming. The machine self exercise literally invites you to draw your own personal circuit board. What are the gears that trigger you? What's the output when they turn? Understanding this stuff, it's like getting to read your character's source code. Okay, this is one of my favorite translations right here. We all have emotional armor, right? In game terms, that's like heavy plate mail. Sure, it gives you a ton of defense, but it also slows you down, gives you a speed penalty. Think about sarcasm. It might protect you, but it can also keep you from really connecting with people. The goal is to maybe trade that heavy armor for something more like a flexible umbrella, a temporary shield you can put up or take down whenever you want, with no penalty. Okay, so once you've got a handle on your character, it's time for the next level, tackling the main storyline. And that story is your own internal narrative. Every great game needs a great villain. And in our own personal story, that villain is often our inner critic. The workbook has a great name for it, the Dictator. It's that voice in your head telling you you're not good enough, you can't do it. But framing it as a final boss, that gives us a whole new way to approach it, not with fear, but with strategy. And here's the thing, you don't fight this boss by trying to silence it. No, you complete the Dictator dialogue quest. Think of it like a dialogue tree in a role-playing game. Your job is to listen to all three parties, your emotional heart, your logical mind, and your critical dictator, and find a path forward. It's about mediation, not total annihilation. So what about your character's stats? Sometimes we look at a personality trait and see it as a permanent weakness, a debuff. Well, this next tool is like a skill respec button in a game. It lets you reassign your points and reframe what you thought was a liability into a seriously powerful asset. Just look at these examples. Are you stubborn, or are you incredibly resilient? Are you too sensitive, or are you deeply empathetic? Are you impulsive, or are you spontaneous? It's the exact same trait, just viewed from a completely different angle. This is a real psychological tool called cognitive reframing, and it's so powerful. You're not changing who you are, you're just changing the story you tell about it. So, we've seen how to build a character, how to approach the main story. We've given you the tools, the game manual. Now, the controller is officially in your hands. It's your turn to press start. Here are a few starter quests you can begin, like right now. And you don't have to do them all, just pick one that sounds interesting. Maybe you want to sketch out your internal machinery to see what makes you tick. Or you could identify your emotional armor and figure out its stats. What does it cost you? What does it give you? You could try writing a script for your inner critic, just to understand it better. Or, for a quick win, just take one liability and reframe it into an asset. Each one is a step into the game. And this right here is probably the most important takeaway of all. Self-discovery isn't a game you can beat. There's no final credits roll. The real victory is just in the process. It's in learning and growing and just continuing to show up and play your own game day after day. So as we wrap up, there's really only one question left to ask. The game is loaded, the first level is waiting for you. Which quest are you going to start first?